are tremendous to watch. Now we'll see if the NBA can get there.
All right, I think we got him. Finally, Coach Otis, thank you fighting through the technical difficulties, but there he is. Coach Otis, he works with Jameis Winston. He just finished wrapping up a throwing session with Jameis. So, Coach, I got to start with that. How did Jameis' arm look today?
And he's on fire. We getting ready to play. This is what we do. This is what we do for a living. So he train, I play. So I mean, he play, I train. Let me rephrase that. But yeah, what we do for a living. So we just getting ready to get in camp and get the Cleveland faithful something to see.
You rocking his merch right there, that shirt.
Eat it up, baby.
Oh, always, man. We've been rocking together a lot of years. So he is I and I am him.
How did this relationship start between you two?
I started training him at age 13. All the way into leading up into his freshman year in the high school, and been with him ever since. We hadn't missed a beat since that time. So went all the way through high school before he even had an offer. I was there from the early conception to now.
Why was Cleveland a good fit for him? I'd imagine he could go to another team and start right away. So why is Cleveland a good fit for him?
Man, I just feel like Jameis is a person that's very opportunistic. So he wants to be in the best opportunity. It's never been just about money. It's never been just about a starting role. It's more about, at this point, situations, opportunity, and I feel like the whole Cleveland organization, when he looked into the free agency market, this team was headed in the right direction. And the opportunity to work with Deshaun, to work with the offensive staff, Coach Stefanski, the GM, all these people, I think it was a collab. I think it was a holistic decision.
And we did a bad job introducing Coach Otis, by the way. Coach Otis played in the NFL for a few years. He had 2 career sacks, 31 tackles, and INT, so he clearly knows the ins and outs of football. And, Coach, now you're working with modern-day fitness and Jameis and a bunch of other athletes. And you guys do some unique training drills. And I wanted to kind of hammer down and ask, where the inspiration for some of these, I'll call them unconventional but clearly effective because they're working. Where's the inspiration and the design for some of these unconventional training methods come from that have become an internet sensation with Jameis?
Well, first of all, I want to say this now because I did kind of hear some of the banter and the gestures that were made early on when Jameis first signed about some of the stuff we do, and we can take it. But I want to say this: we want everybody to know who listen is that Jameis is a funny guy. I could be a funny guy, but we're not a joke. Meaning everything we do is well thought out, very systematic. We've been at this for a long time. And again, I've been with him since he was 13 years old. So a lot of these drills you see, we perfected a lot of them and been doing them for years. And if you go back and you take some of the internet narratives out of it, you'll be able to see that a lot of stuff we're doing actually applies directly to the game. It's a real marriage because I was a defensive lineman and Jameis is a quarterback, and so we do a lot of things he do from a pocket standpoint. I have been a part of helping him put these drills together, and over the years, and like I say, from number 1 player in high school to a Heisman Trophy to number 1 draft pick, I think we've done pretty well with these drills. So. Regardless of what the internet may feel sometime, I think if you go back, and we starting to get calls from other people, pros, college people who want us to implement some of these drills. So it's just kind of funny to watch how the narrative rolls.
Coach, when at what age did you realize that Jameis was special? You say you've been working with him since he was 13. At what age did you realize like this kid can go on to be a really good player in the NFL one day?
Well, first of all, man, I remember early on, probably about third or fourth training session, one thing I picked up on, and I knew he was a lot of people don't know Jameis was an honors graduate out of high school, honor society. I mean, Beta Club member. I mean, he was just a natural brain as it was academically. And then once I started to realize, because sometimes some people can't marry that academics with that athletics, and I realized, wow, he's a savant on the field and off the field. Early on, it was just his ability to apply. Of course, everybody see the arm talent. You see the athleticism, you see the throws, you see the obvious intelligence that he has and his ability to beat you from the pocket. But what threw me off from day one and made me just took me to another level was his ability to apply. You could tell him something in a short period of time, and he would know it and be able to apply it and do it immediately. It wouldn't with certain kids, it take 4 or 5 months to turn stuff over. Jameis could have it done in 4 or 5 minutes, and I knew then his ability to just pick it up and put it down was just unmatched. And that's when I knew that he would be special, just with the obvious tangible attributes, but it was the intangibles for me, and the leadership skills were through the roof at a young age.
Yeah, Coach, with Jameis, he obviously won a Heisman Trophy, a national championship, was the #1 overall pick, had a successful early fraction of his NFL career, and he did that before he got LASIK surgery. It came out and turned out that Jameis was doing and accomplishing all these things while, I don't want to say barely being able to see, but with subpar vision. To me, that is one of the most incredible accomplishments, knowing how much goes into playing the quarterback position to do what he did without being able to see. Were you aware that Jameis needed LASIK, and does that make what he did until he got LASIK even that much more impressive in your eyes, considering the fact he was not seeing crystal clear but still throwing touchdowns all over the field?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Jameis was just raised, his dad, and I got to give his dad credit for this, Antonio Winston, and his mom, Loretta Winston. When I first got Jameis from the very beginning, he's just a no-excuse kid and a man now. I call him a kid because he's been with me so long, but he's a man, obviously. But he's just a no-excuse man, and there's a lot of things that Jameis was battling through, even in his early years in Tampa, some of the injuries and some of the, of course, we know about the stigma he had with his eyes and some of the other things, but he just never was going to make an excuse. So to tell you that I knew how bad it was, I didn't even know sometimes, because Jameis is just not, you talking about somebody absolutely will not make an excuse. And sometimes that almost goes to his detriment, because a lot of times people didn't know what he was dealing with physically, even in some of his years in Tampa, and some of the you later find out goes on to the Saints and win a game against Atlanta Falcons with a broke back, a torn peroneal tendon, coming off an ACL, and most quarterbacks and most people wouldn't even thought about playing. If they would have had a caveat in the middle of it. He never made any excuses. So to tell you I knew about how bad the stigma was, I knew it was one, but I didn't even know, because that's just not him. He's not going to make any excuses. And that's part of the foundation of who his dad and mom raised him to be.
Otis, I want to ask you about just your relationship with NFL teams, but first, we were playing a video earlier. I seen that was Jameis in the helmet swinging a golf club. I've never seen that before. As we talk about unorthodox training tactics, what is the benefit to that? Because that looked really interesting to me.
Well, I can tell you one thing I know about most great athletes that make it to the NFL level, and you got a guy that's been to the NFL level on that set, and I'm sure he can testify to this. They are multi-sport athletes, and a lot of time cross-training, you get a skill. By being a football/basketball player, you can get skills from doing that you can't get from other things. Well, you naturally know swinging actually, I don't even know. That's actually a baseball bat, if we're looking at that.
Okay.
That's actually just a small baseball bat. But what we were trying to do and what we've done, and we have started the golf club, because if you look at the force and the way you use ground force to drive a golf club, that's some of the same foundational muscles you're going to use on the back half to throw that football. But we went back to baseball, because you got to think, man, Jameis was a lot of folks forget, a Division I starting baseball player. And his whole time through Florida State, when he was at his most successful, he played football and baseball. So we make sure that he hones in on those skills, because there are certain things that happen in baseball that we don't want to lose that still apply to his football game. So that's why you see a lot of the cross training, and most great athletes were 2 and 3 sport athletes.
I'm curious. I've never asked this before to you guys who are personal quarterback coaches. When you've got a guy like Jameis, and I'm thinking like Quincy Avery with Deshaun, what's that relationship like when the NFL team has their own quarterbacks coach that they obviously trust? Is it always a sympathetic relationship? Is it ever clash with what you want guys to do and how you train guys and teach guys and how the NFL wants it to do? I'm just curious how NFL teams view guys like yourself and Quincy who have coached these quarterbacks since they were kids or since college or whatever, and there's obviously a lot of trust in that deep relationship there. How do those things align?
Well, first thing is, I would be remiss to not correct it. I am technically not Jameis's quarterback coach. Jameis worked with a guy by the name of John Beck, who actually is his actual technique quarterback coach. What I am, I've been his strength and conditioning guy. I have been his foundational guy, helping him build his athletic foundation since high school.
Okay.
A mentor. I mean, I have been with him through that whole way, but I can't speak to that relationship because I have been there. Just like prime example, as his primary strength coach, I also worked with his guys at the Cleveland Browns, and when he was at the Saints and Tampa Bay, I worked hand in hand with the strength coach to let them know some of the things that we have been doing in the summer to make sure that the goals in which we set from a strength and conditioning standpoint and from an athletic training standpoint are being met. So it really is a good marriage because, again, the way the NFL is cut back with the PA making all the different rules as far as it pertains to time that coaches can actually spend with athletes, it gives you an opportunity. And with me being an ex-NFL guy, I don't have any issue with going in, no ego whatsoever with merging with these guys and making sure we're on the same accord with building the athlete. So I can speak directly to that from the strength and conditioning side. Again, I am not his actual fundamental quarterback coach. I am not that guy. So I want to correct that because I think sometimes that can be one of the mishaps that's being spread online as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Coach O, you know, back in your prime when you was banging, you know, and Jameis in his prime, you coming off that edge, you know, and Jameis is at quarterback, you making the sack, or is he good enough to elude you?
Hey, man, I'm a competitor. I'm a competitor, so we going to go at it, man. We going to go at it, you know. Hey, we still go at it. Still to this day, I'm out there today chasing him down, man. Believe it or not, at 46 years old. So we go at it, man. But it's just it's the competitive nature, man. We gonna go at it, man. We laugh about some of that stuff now, but of course, man, hey, he a lot younger than me right now, so it's his moment. I had my moment in the sun, man. But that's a funny question.
Coach, when we talk about Jameis, because we love Jameis. Like, I think he's awesome. Every time he's in front of a camera, he makes us laugh. Can you give us a Jameis story that, not necessarily special to you, but a Jameis story that we probably haven't heard about, kind of the person Jameis is away from the football field, not just the player he is on the football field?
Man, I can just go on and on. Matter of fact, we just did a camp here in Birmingham, Alabama, where we did a whole weekend. Jameis comes back. He does a library deal where he goes into his old the city he grew up in, Bessemer, Alabama, and pass out books and supports and sponsor a reading program they're doing in Bessemer. And then he was able to this week this deal to bring in Inky Johnson, who actually did a leadership seminar, and we were all a part of that symposium. But I can just go on and on with the man that Jameis is. I mean, I'm just using just as recent as last weekend, he came back and put probably close to $100,000 in inner city youth in Birmingham and touched over 1,000 kids in just a 3-day period. So for me, one of the greatest stories is the man that I've watched him become, because again, like I say, just as recent as this weekend, you know, he comes back and blesses the whole city of Birmingham with his leadership symposium, a youth camp, and his deal that he does at the library in Bessemer, Alabama. So for me, the greatest stories of Jameis Winston is the man that he's become, not just the quarterback, but the man.
Awesome. Coach Otis, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us today. We apologize for the technical difficulties. When you're in Cleveland next, if you want to stop by, I'd love to have you in studio and talk some more about football, Jameis, and what you guys are doing with the Just Win program and your training program. So, Coach, We appreciate you. Thank you so much, and have a blessed rest of the day.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity and not just going with the narrative. And man, I'm looking forward to this opportunity in Cleveland. I'm loving the way all you guys are handling business in Cleveland. And look forward to speaking with you guys again as this season rolls along.
Awesome. That is Coach Otis Leverette, former NFL player. Jameis' trainer, not his quarterback coach, his trainer. And that's why Jameis is in as good a shape as any guy in the NFL.